is it's here's what I did, because I knew that Dr. Carey Wright was coming on, right? And we're not in studio, but I do have a large life-size cutout next to me in my home studio in the bunker of Pete. So I couldn't do this without it. So Pete is standing here next to me as a cardboard cutout. So Dr. Carey Wright, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Paul?
Move over, Pete. Move. I'm doing fine. Just well.
Now that's a picture I wish I could have. I got to tell you that.
Listen, we are living in unusual times, and by and large, I think most Americans and certainly Mississippians are making their way through this. We just want to grasp on any good news at all that we can, and I think there is some out there, and thank God for programs like this that can share some of that good news. But what are we going to do as far as how many of the school districts out there now have not made a decision?
Not made a decision about what?
Whether they're going to continue school or not for the rest of this school year.
Well, that's really the governor's decision. So
I thought the lieutenant governor said it was up to the school districts.
Well, that's news to me. So I've been collaborating actually with Dr. Dobbs, our state health officer, and he and I talk quite frequently and advise the governor, what our best thinking is, which is what we did the last time when the governor decided to close schools through the 17th. And so we just continue to look at the data. Dr. Dobbs and I just had a call, I guess it was the tail end of last week, and that's one of the things he's trying to see, like what is the case rate going to look like by the end of this week in order to then better advise, us in terms of advising the governor about whether to extend the closure through the end of the year or what. And so that's kind of the way that we've been doing it is really based on the data.
There are so many complicated things on this, and I don't even know where to start. When you have a student that probably was going to fail, will they fail? The people who are going to pass, we understand they're going to pass. Do they have enough credits to pass? What about seniors? Will they get the necessary credentials, everything that they need, the diploma to go on and take that next step, whether they're going to community college or IHL? All of these questions, and I'm sure you have a grasp on every single one of these.
Well, we're doing the best that we can. I can say that. The state board met in March and approved a number of waivers to give schools more flexibility where a lot of those issues are concerned. They're, for example, our third grade reading assessment. So we have waived that this year unless there is a local decision made to retain a third grader. That's for example. We've also waived the 180 days that are required by law for children to be in school. We've waived the days that, are certainly covered under COVID. We are saying, though, that seniors still have to earn the minimum of 24 Carnegie units in order to graduate. And so districts are looking at that now and seeing who was on track, who's not on track, and trying to then plan for, if we go back to school, what does that look like? And if we're out for the rest of the year, what does that look like? And that's one thing the leadership team and I at the department have been meeting on a daily basis and thinking about short-term planning to advise the districts versus long-term planning. A lot of the national health experts are saying that there's going to be a resurgence of this in the fall. So if we start in the fall and there's a resurgence of this in the fall, then what does that look like? So I know the superintendents are out there doing the very best that they can, as our principals and teachers. I mean, we've been sending a daily update to them when we get information or we put guidance together around distant learning. And so we've been trying to push as much of that out there as we possibly can for principals and teachers and superintendents to use. And some districts have put together paper packets. They're not prepared right at this moment to go full-time on distance learning, so they've prepared paper packets for each grade and subject area. So everybody's out there doing, an amazing job, actually. And State Board is meeting again virtually in April, and I think we're approving a few more waivers that have come our way, and they've been very flexible, saying if you need us to meet, we'll meet whenever you need us to meet in order to make this easier for the district.
One of the things that's happened from this is teachers are more appreciated now than they've ever been and the parents
Absolutely.
The parents would be willing to cook them a meal or something.
No, I've said more than once, you can never thank a teacher enough.
You can't.
Realize, what they're trying to do now for children. Some are doing it virtually. Some teachers are even reaching out virtually to children. So everybody's doing, I think, the very best that they can under the circumstances.
Is there some coordinated look from the Department of Education to systematically put this in a more organized form, where that second grade teacher, first grade teacher, third grade teacher, whatever, holds a virtual class, which technically certainly can be done. She could do it from her home, a certain time of the day, and God forbid that this thing continues or reappears. Right. But is there some type of study going on with that can happen?
Actually, that's part of the planning that we're doing, Paul. It's good that you brought that up, because that's the one thing that we as a team and the team writ large, really, at the department are looking at how is it that we can help all districts, but particularly districts that are struggling with this distance learning. And I think that that's something that we need to be thinking about as a state writ large, because there are a lot of the rural areas that simply just do not have the broadband that they need in order to get distance learning up and going. So I think as a state, we really need to step back and use a time like this to think about how can we plan so that all children across the state are getting access.
Well, I understand that, but you certainly, the ones that could do it, you don't want to keep them out of it if they could do it now, just because of the few
not.
They can't.
Absolutely not. And you've got a lot of teachers that have gone ahead and done that on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that what you're saying is there a way that we could put together, if you're able to do it, what should it look like? And the answer to that question is yes. That's something that the department is looking at, to provide more guidance for teachers that need the guidance. There are a lot of teachers that are out there that are able to get up and running, quite easily, but there are others that may need a little bit more assistance where that's concerned.
The State Superintendent of Education, Carey Wright, I don't know, I did check with Pete here, and he said he could hold on for another section. Can you?
Sure.
Okay, good. She can hang on. Pete's doing good over here. I may send you a picture of him. We'll be back with more to the Superintendent of Education. And it was just a couple of other questions, but for just to while I got you on and hitting every single school district out there, what do you want them to know as we move forward in the next couple of weeks, Dr. Wright?
Well, there's several things. One, the Education Stabilization Fund was passed by Congress, and so there are going to be funds coming to the districts that will be sent through the department through to the district so that they can have additional funds to assist them at this time. And we are waiting to get more guidance from the federal government on exactly when that's coming and what does that look like. But that's good news for everybody that's out there. And also let them know that we are available to help them however we can. We've set up an email system so that if they've got questions or they need to reach us, all they need to do is to email us. Staff is working as they have been every single day. So anything that they need to contact us, and we'll do our very best to see that they get it.
I would imagine that there's some education-oriented businesses out there that certainly would qualify. I was wondering if daycare centers would qualify.
That I don't know about the daycare centers. I don't know about that. The monies that are coming, there's a certain percentage that are going to be reserved for the governor's use. There's then another bucket of money that is reserved for K-12, and then another bucket that is reserved for post-secondary. So I don't know about that. Now, there may be other funds that are coming through another department, but through the education department, those are the monies that we know that are coming to the state.
So my understanding is you said that the governor could make that decision as far as, let's call it quits, and we'll come back in the fall and do that statewide. And I'm sure he's doing that with the input of Dr. Dobbs and also you guys at the Department of Education. But what's the drop dead date for that to make that decision?
That's really up to the governor and the advice that we're giving. I think Dr. Dobbs wanted to wait until this week to see what the case rate was going to look like, and then try he and I would then meet and talk, and then get on the phone like we did the last time with the governor, and offer our best thinking.
Final thoughts here. Is that it? Is it that I think we've covered just about everything we could?
Just a really pat on the back, I think, to teachers and principals and superintendents and parents that are out there doing the very best that they can. I think that nobody could have ever anticipated something of this nature, but everybody is just doing their level best from the departments throughout the state to ensure that children are continuing to learn, and I think that is that just deserves a lot of praise for people that are out there doing it.
I got to tell you, we got a note, shared a note from our 8-year-old's grandchild's teacher. And my daughter shared the note that how much she missed the kids, and teachers all over are doing that. And these teachers are so incredible, absolutely incredible. So when we do ring the bells tonight, remember the teachers, remember the first responders, and remember the nurses. And we had a nurse in Michigan. There was another one who just died. She died alone at her home. She got the virus after she has been helping so many people in the hospital. So,
wow. Well, I feel that. My daughter's a nurse, and her husband is in the medical field as well, and they are right there on the front line. And I have a real empathy for what they're doing, and a real appreciation for what they're doing each and every day for other people.
Stay strong. If you need us, give us a call. If you need the information get out across the state, we're here for you. Give us a call. I will, at the same time, go back and put the cardboard Pete in the closet for another appearance.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it.
Thank you.